Tachyon has been dominating the meta. It is quite obviously bordering tier 0. Personally, I do not think the deck is tier 0, I think it is bordering tier 0. And the reason why it is not tier 0 is because there is another deck which is not leagues below Tachyon. And thanks to its new skill and a couple of new cards, that deck is Shiranui. Shiranui does have a pretty good chance at winning going second against Tachyon, and there are two ways that Shiranui can beat Tachyon when it goes first. The first way is you do your combo, but also set a bunch of purple cards. The second way is you use a combo to make Beatrice, and then Beatrice can send Mischief or the Gnomes from your deck to the graveyard. To join us in defeating the monster that we help to create, consider pressing the big red button. But with no further ado, enjoy! The skill says that if we special summon a monster with a level, then it has to be Fire Zombie. This means that we cannot use Shade to bring back Mizuki. But I still play 3 Mizuki and 3 Solitaire, but only 2 Squire. The reason for this is that Squire is not that good to discard with the skill, and most of the time we are going to search it anyway. When I'm using the skill to discard something to search for a Shiranui card, I would much rather discard Mizuki, Solitaire, or Spirit Master. Spirit Master is very nice. Not only does it work well with the skill, but it turns Samurai into an interruption. It also makes Gold Sark a good card to use when going second. Normally, I would not play the level 2 because the skill gives it to us already, but when you do play it, it turns Solitaire and Mizuki into a 1-card combo for Beatrice to then send Mischief of the Gnomes to the graveyard. For my Twitch streams, I prefer to remain in Legend rank until the end of the month, but most Tachyon players will be in King of Games. Because of this, it wasn't that easy to find a lot of them for the YouTube video. Therefore, I'm going to tell you the 1-card combos for Beatrice now before we continue with the deck profile. If you have Solitaire, use the skill to discard it and search any level 4. Then use Spectral Sword Engrave to banish itself and Solitaire to summon Doomkaiser. Then the effect of Solitaire will bring back Spectral Sword, and then you can normal summon your level 4 to use it and the Spectral Sword to make Samurai Saga. Then those two can make Beatrice to send Mischief of the Gnomes from the deck to the graveyard. This card has a grave effect that makes it so that every monster in the Tachyon player's hand at the time of using it becomes 1 level lower. So they cannot use the skill or trade in. If you have Mizuki as your 1-card combo, instead use the skill to discard this and search Solitaire. Then normal summon Solitaire and tribute it for the level 2 tuner from your deck. Then Mizuki can be banished to bring back Solitaire. And then these two can then make Samurai Saga. Then the level 2 tuner that's in the grave from the skill can banish itself and Solitaire to make Doomkaiser. And then the level 2 tuner can come back via the effect of Solitaire, and then Doomkaiser and Solitaire can make Beatrice to then send Mischief of the Gnomes from your deck to the graveyard. Depending on the rest of your hand, you can do more than just Beatrice, because Beatrice can dump Mizuki on your turn, and can still dump the Mischief on their turn. And now for the second half of the deck profile, we play with 2 spell trap cards to search with a skill, which is Gracemeet Skull and Samsara. And we only need 1 Mischief of the Gnomes because we send this with Beatrice. For tech cards, I play ones which are quite flexible, like Book of Moon and Compulse, but I also play cards which are good for Tachyon, like Needle Sealing. In the extra deck, the only cards that you have to play are Squire Saga, Doomkaiser, Skill Saga, and Vampire Sucker, and Beatrice if you choose to play Mischief. This is because the other cards you need come from the skill. The flex options that I chose were the second level 10, Phoenix, and Unicorn. I quite like Unicorn for beating Yubel decks that summon Kluger, but the other two feel more flexible. And yeah, enjoy the gameplay. I think Shiranui is probably the best back row deck in the meta because you can just force like so much with your engine and then just set with your macro. Whereas like most macro decks can't really force more than 1 interruption with just their engine. Domination. We're going to go ahead and reveal to us a Parsec to then search their deck for a Nebula, to then set from their hand a Nebula. They're going to then flip up the Nebula. They're using the skill now which tells me that they have a lot of tech cards in their hand and not a lot of monsters, if they're doing this early. So we might see like Seyfert Blade and 3 macro. Okay, they're not making the Blade. I mean, they still could. But you don't if you don't make Seyfert. Seyfert had Seyfert. Huh? Okay. That was a weird way of doing it. If you had Seyfert, you definitely had a better play there. Right, time to cook. We'll go... Let's see. We want to respect this being IDP, so we're going to use the Spectral Sword before we normal summon to play around Ice Dragon's Prison. And we're going to search for... We have no space to set the trap really, so we probably just grab something for follow-up. Probably best if we grab a Spirit Master for that. And we're going to attempt to sync her off with the Solitaire. And this will now bring back the Spectral Sword. They're possibly holding the trap for the Squire. I was considering going for Samurai Saga instead of this, but it means that like if they were to, I don't know, chalice this, it means I can make Samurai Saga with these two instead. Okay, so now we can use these two to make the Shogun Saga. Should have probably not have made it in the EMZ. That's a bit of an error, but it's okay. It makes a very minor difference. IDP going to be used to banish the Spirit Master and the Shogun Saga. Okay. They can add back a level 8 to hand with the Seyfert is the issue here. But they have to like go into Seyfert Blade to do that, which is fine, right? So yeah, we can do it. And if anything, we can just use the other effect in the same turn after they add back with Seyfert. The level 6 Synchro is not a requirement, no, but if you want to replace it, the best replacement would probably be the Archfiend one. If you don't have that one either, then I'm not sure what you can play instead, because you can only summon the Samurai Saga once per turn, so you can't play 2 of it. Damn. I guess the Gnome's too powerful. Yeah, we beat Tachyon with Gnome earlier, where we went second with Gnome and used it, but I want to have a game where we go first and use Gnome against Tachyon. Seyfert effects. Pitch the Parsec. Grab the Spiral. Yeah, they set this with the skill, and the skill also searched for a Nebula as well. Yeah, what I quite like with only playing the one Gnome is we only have to play one Gnome, but we have access to it every game that we open up, either Mizuki or Solitaire, which is quite nice. Yeah, there's also the Parshaf build of this deck too. Okay, Seyfert to add back. Yeah, the skill not being once per duel is very, very good. Nebula effects. Okay, we haven't used the skill to search for trap yet. So we're going to bounce back one of these two to the hand to do that. There's the Tachyon. Okay. Bounce back at the trap. Set one, pass. Okay. Ooh, okay. So we have all gas into their end boards. They have the trap in hand and an unknown card face down. Okay, so we're going to normal summon Squire. They're going to use Chalice on the Squire. Okay. Pitch Spirit Master. We grab a trap off this. Am I fine if I use the trap on the Spectral Sword here? I think I am. So we go this now then. Yeah, we're going to use the trap on the Spectral Sword. It won't shuffle back though because it was not used on the field. Then we go ahead and we use the spell to pitch Mizuki and summon Solitaire from the deck. We're going to use Felgrand on the Solitaire here so we can attribute it for the effects. So now we could go into Vampire Sucker. We could go straight into the level 10. I think I'm going to go into Vampire Sucker to get to draw a card here. Yeah. 1, 2. Why didn't the trap shuffle? It only shuffles if it negates a thing on the fields. Things like Graven Hand will not get shuffled back into the deck. Draw cards. It's not a great draw, unfortunately. Hello, Bordon. Hope you are doing good. Let's make Squire Saga. We're going to use this now to banish Spirit Master. Yes. Banish this, pop the Tachyon. Because we need to keep our monster on the field to use the trap. They use Cosmic Cyclone early. I think because they know that I searched this, it was probably better for them to hold that and change to the effects of it. Real Nebula. Search Nebula. Yeah, I've got a pretty vampire. So chaining CC would stop the 0 damage, yeah, because it's like a continuous effect on the field, like how MST stops Tenki. But if you do MST or Cosmic Cyclone and I Chamber Trap, then I still don't take damage that turn. This makes Seyfert. That makes Full Armor. I still do not take any damage this turn though. Nice. Whee! Into Big Synchro. Bring back for level 2. And we use these to make the Shogun Saga. Oops. Shogun will become 55. Have you thought about playing X's Encore? I played it in a tournament yesterday and it's pretty good. So I think it's pretty nice, yeah. I wouldn't play it on ladder because there is a lot of decks which are not Tachyon. But for maybe the KC Cup Stage 2 it would be quite good. Nice, GG.